Good morning, Mr. Jeff here from AKLA Hudson. You can check us out on karateforfree.com. That's karate, the number 4, and free.com. You can also follow me on Facebook and YouTube and Patreon. I'm new to the Patreon thing, so bear with me there. So if you'd like to meet with me one-on-one on Zoom, I'll do a free lesson with you and we'll assess your goals and kind of discuss what you're looking for while you're stuck in the home right now, whether it be through martial arts training, yoga, or basic fitness and wellness. We can discuss all of that. I've been training for about 24 years in the martial arts, 17 of which I've been instructing. I also teach yoga here at my academy and various other locations. So whatever you're looking for, even if you just want to have a good conversation, give me a ring. All right, so today we're going to focus on the breath and some basic movements. Again, these morning videos, these live casts, are all about waking up and warming up. So you can take that to the next level. As you learn certain things with each one of these, you can combine them together into a workout, which we will do in time. But first I want to go over a couple of the basics with some of the new visitors. Any of my students, whether they're the martial arts students, the yoga students, or the hybrid students who study both, you're going to understand a bunch of things that I'm doing in the motion without me even having to say anything. But as you keep reviewing these videos and practicing, feel free to pause, feel free to rewind, and do a movement over again, because we're not going to particularly focus on a guided movement like we would in a class. We do have classes, virtual classes, Wednesday nights, 7 p.m. That's a good one to join in. Again, go to karateforfree.com to learn more. There's a form on there that you can fill out, and I'll get back to you right away, okay? You might notice I have a belt here with me, an extra one. We're gonna go over a couple of things with this today too, to give you some practical ideas of how you can practice some of this stuff at home. Keep in mind, I'm not a doctor, and you know yourself better than I do. So anything that I show you here comes from my experience, trial and error, and developing my own practice over the past 24 years. So don't let this substitute your plan with your doctor and the professionals that you get help from for whatever situation you're dealing with. And parents, make sure that the kids have safe areas around them so nobody gets hurt if they're practicing any of this stuff, okay? Let's get started. So assuming a natural position, I want you to completely focus on this movement. As I breathe in, I look up slightly, and as I breathe out, I just let my body relax. And I slouch down looking at the floor. Then I'm going to breathe in, getting nice and tall, and you can feel how your shoulders kind of go back and relax. And then I breathe out. Doing that a few times. I want you to pay attention to how the body feels. Back here in particular, when you're standing tall, and also when you're doing this. This is something that we do common, right? We all commonly do this, right? We slouch. And when you do that too much, it puts a lot of pain on the lower back and other areas that kind of almost make it impossible for you to do basic everyday movements. So if you find that certain parts of your body are hurting when you're trying to do any type of physical movement, that's something to pay attention to. That's something to talk to your doctor about, and it's also something to write down, so that way you remember what you were doing and how it caused the pain. Now I'm going to show you how to isolate some parts of your body while relaxing other parts. That's half the battle when it comes to the learning how to be flexible thing. Now, when I go down like this, I can feel all the pressure in the back, the lower back, and even a little bit in the upper back here. So I want you to try, if it's really hard for you to stand up tall because all those areas hurt, instead of breathing out when you go down, I want you to breathe in. And then as you breathe out, help yourself stand tall, and then start to breathe in as you go down. the reason why we're doing this is because as I'm breathing in, it's helping me to get some relief where it hurt as I'm going back down to this position that's easier. So I breathe in, and it expands everything right to my back. And then as I breathe out, it gives me a moment to get up there with some energy. Now you listen to that sound my breath is making. That's just like you're going up to the window and then drawing a smiley face, right? Or you're fogging up your glasses so that way you can clean them, okay? As you do that, it allows you to focus your lungs and not let the oxygen come in too fast. When we breathe like that, I'm exaggerating of course, but when we breathe like that, we don't get enough oxygen, and then all of a sudden everything goes into panic mode, and it's almost impossible to focus on any one thing, never mind a lot of things around you. So I want you to try to breathe like that as you're breathing in. Now I'm exaggerating the noise so you can hear it. And then I hold it for a moment if I can, gently, and then I exhale. So try that again. Remember, if we're talking about in the circumstance where this is how I am most of the day, whether I'm working on a desk or I'm exercising bad habits because I'm stuck in the house, so I'm just doing this all day, right? And I don't do this very much. So this hurts when I try to stand like this, right? Or sleep like this, but we'll get to that on a different day. So I'm gonna breathe in while I'm down here. And then as I breathe out, in martial arts, we call that ki, two Japanese words, I and ki. It doesn't always have to be, right? That's the most extreme. That's how it can sound when you're really putting energy and power into one thing. In yoga, we call it prana, life energy, pranayama, breath work, right? So we're focusing on the oxygen. So it's just that sound, but it's a similar concept, and it helps you to regulate your body's energy and focus in each muscle group wherever you're bringing it with your body's alignment, okay? Now, what I want you to do is think about this. I have this balloon here, right? Now, when it comes to certain body movements with the torso, if I'm already holding my breath hard as I breathe in and then trying to do certain movements, like say twisting, right, without exhaling, it puts a lot of pressure on my lungs and on the rest of the muscles. And even the slightest movement, if I go too much, makes it pop, right? Or causes some type of injury or pain. So I want you to envision that when you're doing these movements, especially if you have problems in your gut or in your back, in certain areas where, man, that just hurts so bad I can barely move. I want you to try to focus on relaxing the other parts of your body that are already strong and mobile. So that way you can get the energy and the breath and expansion focused into the injured area or whatever you're dealing with. Again, definitely talk to your doctor about this so you can see how to make this work for yourself. Now I'm going to use my belt today. You can find anything in the house to do this, right? My favorite thing to use, in fact, is the towel. When I get out of the shower, I bring it up like this, and I put it behind me, and I start drying off this way, right? Just like that. Now, with this belt, it's going to allow me to isolate certain muscle groups without really noticing because of where I have to grab here, right? Here, when I hold it up, I do feel it a little bit in my shoulders, but once I relax them, where I'm pulling, where the resistance is going, is activating the muscle groups being used. In this case, it's my tricep muscles, okay? So when I'm holding it and I'm pressing this way, I get this. So once I don't have the belt in my hand, I can feel how to do that just by using which part of my hands activate those. So if you really pay attention to your body, and I start doing this with my fingers here, I can feel it go all the way down my forearm right into my tricep muscles. I'm activating those right now. I'm tensing them up and relaxing them. I might feel it a little bit elsewhere, but the more I focus on relaxing this area, the more I can feel this area being worked. Same time, if I go on this side and do this, these 3 fingers here, well, that's not a finger, but you know what I mean. It tenses up this more. It still activates this, but more so up here along these nerves and these muscle groups, okay? So think about that when you're gripping on the belt. Now I'm going to move through some motions that are familiar to some of you and maybe not to others, but as I'm here, I'm looking down so I don't put pressure on my neck while my arms are up in the air. And then I'm going to bring it right about to my collar, just like so. Now I'm having myself stand tall. I have a little bit of a bracing angle here with my arms to hold myself up. But I can feel that posture. I can feel certain parts of my body relaxing, some stretching. Anytime you feel any pain, back off for a second. Okay? You have to respect what your body's telling you. That's one of the main principles of yoga, is we're listening to our body and the signals that it already sends us. My belly hurts. I'm hungry. What do you know? That's a signal that my body sent to me, right? Same thing when you feel pain. If it's an ouch, that means stop. But there's also such thing as good pain, development pain, right? Weightlifters know all about that. Now, this is a type of resistance training you can do. Depending on where I grip the belt will determine which parts of the muscles I isolate. So as I'm here and holding it, I'm feeling my shoulder blades and my back muscles stretch. Even the abdomen and the core on some levels, like I'm doing a crunch. See? Now that's again focusing on that slouching. You could also go up tall and completely feel it in a different manner. Now I have it here, I'm bringing it up, and I'm just going to settle into a position. Feel free to revisit this video at any time to see exactly how I'm getting into some of these positions. Now as I'm standing here, as I practice my hammer fist, I'm also practicing my upward elbow. But if we're not looking at the strikes, and we're just looking at the motion, which is really what we do in this academy, we're studying motion more so than we're studying any particular system or technique. I'm just stretching the tricep muscles on the front arm already naturally by lifting it up, and I'm working in the back doing the same thing. I'm pushing with one, and I'm slightly pulling with the other. So they counter each other. So as I do my back motion, and I do this motion up here, I'm going to exhale. I inhale here. Now some of my students might see this front hand motion already. Do you see it? Right. Now I can go around to the other side, and it might feel completely different depending on your body's flexibility, right? So I'm here. Right. I'm back up here now. I'm gonna bring it right around. I'll turn around so you can see what that looks like. Okay. Now I'm focusing it this way. Again, tricep muscles. We're not isolating every body group today. I'm just giving you an idea of how it works. Okay. Now, I'm going to relax them. These resistance type of exercises work in several different ways, and we'll use this a lot. Now, if you wanted to do a one-on-one with me and learn more about this in particular, there's your first goal, right? To find ways to use things at home to make life easier for you. So there's a common misconception that going to a class once or twice a week is going to make results happen in your life. Well, I've learned over the past 17 years in my experience instructing that it's not about coming into class as much as it's about developing a practice in your daily life, right? That's why we call it practice. It's like a doctor's practice, right? they're not going home and practicing in their closet how to be a doctor. They're practicing the art form, the science, right, out of a place where people come and they treat people. So as you're working with different individuals, you're learning different ways to develop that practice according to the situation, right? So in this case, it's about developing the practice at home. So I gave you one answer already. I can use a towel for a lot of these exercises, and it's going to get me to do things that I wouldn't normally think of doing. But once I don't have the towel in my hand and I do this, I can feel how the rest of my body and the supporting muscle groups are relaxed as I'm isolating specific ones. Then I can start feeling what I can do as specific muscle groups are relaxed and other ones are tense, right? So keep that in mind as you're trying this out, okay? And we'll build off these concepts and ideas. I encourage you to start with the first video that came out on Wednesday. I will be putting a video out every morning with different concepts and tips. And as you piece them together, you will be able to have a well-rounded practice in different ways that you can wake up every day, right? So the last thing I'll tell you that you can think about is what happens when you wake up in the morning. You gotta figure out how to feel balanced and ready, right? If I'm sleeping in a particular way that's gonna cause an imbalance, I have to be able to balance that out in order to feel good when I wake up. So sometimes sitting on your bed when you wake up or in a chair helps you do that. I find support for my lower back, and I do the same thing I was doing when I was standing. I try to focus the body into a nice, tall, relaxed posture. And I can do that same exercise we did at first, where I slouch and relax. And I can breathe out when I do that. Then I breathe in and breathe out. And in this case, I could even reach behind the chair to get the same type of a workout. And look, I can lift my legs up. Nothing crazy, especially if I have any problems here, right? Or I know that I have any injuries that wouldn't allow me to be really super flexible when I'm doing things like this, right? But in the chair, I could try to do it like this. Another thing, if I can't really get my foot up to do kicks or anything extreme where I need to hold my foot out, when I'm sitting in the chair, I can at least work on these muscle groups, like when I'm in the gym, doing leg lifts, and working these muscle groups is the same thing. More advanced folks, you can come up and find ways to work those muscle groups. But it may seem like it's not a very good tool to use, but it is, right? You can use it for advanced or beginner, injured or healthy, to do multiple things. And think about the balloon when you're doing things like this. Release some of the air. Have bracing points, just like you did with the belt. And even if I have the belt or the towel or the rope or the resistance band, whatever you can think of, okay? Even while I'm sitting, I can use it. Yeah. Or if I want to do a leg stretch, I can just pull my knee in, push my knee out. Okay? Working on push and pull. I even want to do a front kick in this case. I want to develop those muscles like we said yesterday for what I need to use them for in my practice. Working on the kick, the front kick, using the ball of the foot, and working on my pull muscles this way, which could also be so you get the idea. Try a couple of these things out. Remember, ask your doctor for advice first. Talk to your parents to make sure that you're setting up a safe area. Adults, this stuff will work for you as well. all of this training will work for you. We train families, but we also train adults separately. Yoga, martial arts, general movement for your health and wellness. Give me a call. Check me out on karateforfree.com. I'll see you tomorrow.